Hi, this is 5 by 5 with Dave O'Mara on April 25th, 2005. I've been watching for the last day or so in bits and pieces the original Solaris by Tarkovsky in bits and pieces, half hour here, half hour there, and I must say that I'm being gradually blown away within the context of watching it, I guess in the same way that you'd read a novel. I'm at about the 2 hour and 40-minute mark, I think, the last time I looked at the time display on the DVD player, and there doesn't seem to be any indication. I had completely dropped out of grad school by this time, moved home from Syracuse to Milwaukee. I guess you could say that I had damaged my own abilities to relate to other people by pursuing an intellectual and imaginative life. I tried to measure not about grades or
her in that sense, but it is about me, and this is what is on my mind. So, or at any rate, it's impossible to mention the date without thinking about her, and I do think about her. So, to continue in my non-theistic vein here, I am going to read from Henri Poincaré.
I thought how this moment didn't seem random at all. That Sylvia thought clearly when she was thinking of the bottom line, of her economic reality. And if she could think clearly when she was thinking about the bottom line, well, then I had to wonder, did that young officer who years before had been part of the first incident on Solaris when the strange phenomena began to occur for the first time, comes to visit them and give them some background because Chris, the son, the stocky matinee idol type, I guess, for a Slavic matinee idol, is going to go back up to the space station and investigate whatever is going on up there. And in fact, the false name and a true dream do create a new reality. The object really does become other because we have made it so. We manufacture realities. We use raw materials we always used, but the form lent it by art. To effectively life imagination by reading history, philosophy of science, wandering in the coffee shops of the East Side, and going to movies at the Oriental Theater. And this is back in the days before the era of the VCR, shortly before that era, and you actually had to go to a movie theater, a repertory cinema, I guess is what you would now call the programming. But it's really amazing, Oriental, because it just goes on and on, and it tries to capture that sitting in the Oriental is it just going through tunnels, losing saturation as going to the darkness. It's that feeling. It actually produces poetically that feeling of thinking while driving, of there being an important issue hanging over your life as you're driving along. The long drive home after a possibly futile visit, the long silence of reflection on this scene, which does absolutely nothing to advance the plot.
I'm going to have to take my time and try to work through that sentence. So the first presumption he's talking about is the presumption that the velocity of a body cannot change if there's no reason for it to change.
After having a chance to save
and he says, what
so
is
they
it
will
is
call
not
the
purely a
ambulance, and they will take me to the hospital.
Just as legitimate,
Maybe rationality is too strong a word for this train of thought. Most of us would say that the tactics that he chose to pursue his goal, wandering about in his shirt sleeves in the bitter sub-zero cold, were clearly irrational.
words I write are utterly will.
But at the same time,
Sadness lurks behind consciousness, beneath consciousness, he actually said. I write, or rather scribble these lines, not in order to say anything in particular, but to give my distraction something to do. With the soft marks made by a blunt pencil I haven't the heart to sharpen. I slowly fill in the white paper provided to me by the cafe.
The blasts her off into space and tries to kill her, but of course she comes right back. And she's such the simulacrum, the apparition, whatever she is so vulnerable and so sweet and has many, probably the same sort of mental illnesses that his original wife had. So it's a really, really great piece, and it compares in some ways to the movie Birth, which I saw yesterday as well, but it does it much, much better. It explores this theme.